Hey, what is going on, guys? Thanks for checking out this video of my sports, Gematria. In this video, I'm going to go over the NBA game for Saturday, June 5th, 2021. I want to show you both sides of the game, and it's going to be up to you to determine who you think will win based on the numbers. I encourage you to add additional information on top of this if needed for you to feel confident in your own pick. And if for some reason you're curious to know who I'm picking in these games, you'll have to join my Patreon where my picks are always in writing, underlined, and italicized. For more information on that, please read the description of this video. I wish you guys the best of luck in your picks today. Let's go ahead and get into today's game. Saturday, we just have one game on the board, game one for the East semifinals. It's going to be the Bucks versus the Nets to start it off. So the way I have this structured here is I have my daily numbers on this side, date numerology, Gregorian, Hebrew calendar. And then on this side, I have what I call my game numbers. I have the away team up top, which is the Bucks, their coach's record, their season record, their postseason record. In the middle here is the head-to-head between the two teams. And then at the bottom here is the home team, which is the Nets, their season record, their postseason record, and their coach's record. Up top here, I have some extra notes. It is game one, so there's nothing really to add here as far as keeping track of a record since it's the first game. This will be the 43rd NBA playoff game for this season. What's interesting about this being the 43rd game is if we write out 43, 43 sums to 140, and it also sums to 130. And the Milwaukee Bucks come into this game with 130 postseason wins and 140 postseason loss. So they're 130, 140 for a postseason record. Heading into this 43rd NBA playoff game, 43 sums to 140 and 130. I thought that was interesting. So they can either sit on the 140 or they can sit on the 130. It can go either way for them in that regards. But let's look at these numbers here. Bucks versus the Nets. Right here I have this is the Bucks coach's record all time in postseason, specifically as a coach for the Bucks, and this is his record all time for his career. Bucks have some numbers going against him in this game. Let's start with the Nets here. If the Nets were going to win this game, 53, they can pick up their 53rd win for this season. Today does have 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. 53 is the 16th prime number. It will be the 16th postseason head-to-head matchup between these two teams. And the Nets can get their 32nd home win for the season. Today does have 16 and 32 date numerology on the Gregorian. It is June 5th, written 6/5 or 5/6, however you want to write it, with a day with 52 date numerology on it. And the Nets can get their 68th postseason win as a team. 68 sums to 56, being June 5th. It also sums to 52 with 52 date numerology. June 5th with 52 date numerology. 68 sums to 56 and 52. This could be potential setup for the Nets to get their 68th postseason win. If they were to do that, the Nets would even the series 2-2 head-to-head against the Bucks for the season, like the number 22, as Bucks sit on 22 road wins with a loss, as Nets become 7-9 head-to-head against the Bucks, like 79 post-season. 79 is the 22nd prime number. And the Hebrew religious is the 25th day of the third month, like 253. 253 is the 22nd triangular number. So this goes in favor of Nets a bit. It is the 25th day of the ninth month on the Hebrew civil, like 259. And the Bucks coach, he can get his 295th all-time loss for his career, 295. 259 just are anagrams of each other, and it's the 260th day of the Hebrew civil year, and Bucks could get their 141st postseason loss. 141 sums to 260. Also 33 sums to 141, and today does have 16 date numerology on the Gregorian. 16 does sum to 33. But the Bucks coach, he can get his 33rd postseason loss for his career as the Bucks get their 141st postseason loss as a team. 33 sums to 141. 33 also sums to 156 and 141, and it is the 156th day of the Gregorian. Game 2 is played on Monday, which is the 158th day of the Gregorian year, and it's going to be the Nets' 158th postseason game on that day. And the thing about that number is 32 sums to 158, and so Nets could go into that game with 32 home wins, or they can pick up their 32nd home win in Game 2 in the 158th postseason game for them. So that's an either-or scenario that you can play around with. Do the Nets pick up their 32nd win in Game 1 and head into Game 1 a day with 32 date numerology, and then they head into Game 2 on the 158th day, which will be their 158th postseason game? Or do Nets lose Game 1 and then in the Game 2, that's when they get their 32nd home win? 32 sums to 158 on the 158th day, 158th postseason game for them. That would be the scenario. So there's a lot of numbers here for Nets to take Game 1, potentially. But like I said, this 32 can be interchangeable from Game 1 to Game 2. And on top of that, Game 1 does have a day with 52 date numerology, and Nets could sit on 52 wins for the season instead of getting their 53rd. It's possible. It's their 78th game of the season, and the Nets could get their 26th loss for the season. Those two numbers share Gematria, 78, 26. They share the 159, 78 and 26. So that could be potential for the Nets to get their 26th loss in their 78th game on a day with 52 date numerology as they sit on 52 wins. 6 and 67. In regards to how we were talking about the 32 and it being the 158th game postseason for the Nets in Game 2, which is on Monday. Monday is June 7th, which is written 6/7 or 7/6. So the Nets can sit on 67 postseason wins heading into that game, which would be their 158th postseason game on that day, on the 158th day, which would be June 7th, 6/7. So there's that. It's kind of interchangeable there. On top of that, 6/7 or 7/6. You could do it either way. Bucks coach, he can either get his 76th loss in Game 1 and head into June 7th sitting on 76, or he can get his 76th in Game 2 if they win Game 1. So that could be interchangeable as well. And same with the Bucks. They could get their 131st postseason win on either day. Game 1 with 32 date numerology, 131 is the 32nd prime number, and at the same time 32 sums to 158, and maybe they can get it in Game 2 on the 158th day as Nets sit on 32 in their 158th. So you can play around with these numbers in favor of either or. I mean, plain and simple, this is the 2 seed versus the 3 seed, like 23 or 32. So the 32 number is going to be tricky here in the first 2 games, it looks like. Who's going to get the 32? Is it the Nets get their 32nd win, home win in Game 1, or do they get it in Game 2? Because both days have connections to the number 32. What else? On Monday, 27th of the 9th, 27th of 3, 51. I think that's about it. Bucks getting their 51st win. 51. 116, 35, 46. So we have 51 date numerology on the Hebrew Religious for Game 2. So again, this could be either Bucks go into game 2 with 51 wins, or they don't get their 51st win until game 2. It could be an either or scenario. Another thing about, if we go back to game 1, game 1 with 52 date numerology, 52 sums to 128. And the Bucks coach can get his 412th all-time win for his career, which is basically just an anagram of 124. 124, 52 sums to 124 and 43. It is the 43rd playoff game. He could get his 412th win, which is just an anagram of 124, instead of getting his 295, which is an anagram of 25-9. Bucks coach, he could sit on that 32. It's really going to come down to the number 32, I think. Somebody's going to get the 131 or the 32 here, or the 68 here, or it's going to happen in game 2. It's going to be interchangeable. What else? What else can I show you guys? 30, 2010, 1911. 271 is the 58th prime number. 157 is the 37th prime number. Nets, they could sit on 31 home wins as Bucks up the series 3-1, like 31 head-to-head for the season. That's potential there. Yeah, so at a first glance, I like the 53, the 32, and the 68 for the Nets at a first glance, and then the 22, 22, and the 79 for the Nets. At first glance, I'm like, okay, Nets will probably take game 1. But as you start to play around with these numbers and dig a little deeper, there's numbers here for the Bucks. They can, Nets can sit on that 52. They don't have to get their 32nd home win in this game. They can get it in game 2 in their 158th postseason game on the 158th day. 32 sums to 158. And same goes for the Bucks. They don't have to get their 131st postseason win, the 32nd prime number, in game 1. They can get it in game 2 if they wanted to, again with the 32 connection. And yeah, so 182, 114. I think that's about it. Well, I just wanted to put this video together for you guys real quick. Hopefully this helps a little bit. If I miss anything, don't hesitate to put it in the comments below. And just pause the video. All the numbers here are on the screen for you. You can just pause the video and just look at the numbers yourselves. Here's the numbers for Saturday, and then we can move it over here. There's the numbers for Monday, game 2. Alright, well, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this helps. And I wish you guys the best of luck. Hopefully you win your picks.